not as someone who holds on, but as someone who loves in a mature way, confident that the bond remains even without the physical presence. Among the most touching points of the interview is what Cayce said about the mission of each soul. He believed that no one comes into the world by chance. Every life, however simple or suffering, has a purpose. Sometimes this purpose isn't grand in the eyes of the world, but it's transformative for those who live it. A grandfather who transmits wisdom, a woman who raises children with love, a man who works with honesty, all fulfill fundamental roles. Cayce said that after death, the soul understands this purpose more clearly, and that when it realizes that it has fulfilled what it needed to, it feels peace. For the elderly who often wonder if they have done enough, this revelation can bring comfort. Not everything needs to be grand. The essential thing is to live with truth. And even if the mission isn't yet clear, it continues until the last day. Every gesture still counts. Every thought still shapes the destiny of the soul. Cayce also pointed out that the fear of death often stems from the unknown. He compared the experience to crossing a door that has always been in front of us, but that we avoid opening. When we finally go through it, we realize that the space on the other side isn't dark or lonely, but silent and full of meaning. He said that the soul, when leaving the body, goes through a moment of deep recognition, a moment in which everything makes sense. The mistakes, the successes, the encounters and disagreements fit together like pieces of a larger puzzle. For many seniors who live questioning decisions of the past, this image is powerful. Knowing that one day everything will be understood, that no pain was in vain, offers a kind of solace that few speeches can offer. And perhaps that's why Cayce insisted so much. The end of life isn't a punishment nor a loss. It's just the next step of something that has always been in progress. Another detail that stands out is how Cayce described the lightness of the soul when leaving the body. He said that the physical weight disappears so naturally that, often, the spirit only realizes that it has detached when it tries to interact with the environment and notices that it's no longer seen or heard. This account, repeated by many others who have had near-death experiences, brings to light an important point. Death isn't a sudden break, but a smooth transition, like falling asleep in one place and waking up in another. For the elderly audience, this type of explanation helps to reduce fear, as it replaces images of suffering with a vision of continuity. And more than that, it reinforces the idea that everything that has been lived continues to be part of existence. Cayce didn't promise miracles, but he offered a simple logic. If life is learning, death can't be the end. It needs to be the continuation of this process. In a final excerpt from the interview, Cayce was asked what he would do if he knew he had only one day left to live. His answer was direct. He would give thanks. He would give thanks for the opportunity to have lived, learned, and shared. And he added that gratitude is the most powerful feeling that the soul can carry. This statement, simple and unadorned, reveals much about what he believed to be the secret of a good departure. It's not escaping death, nor trying to postpone the inevitable. It's preparing with awareness and dignity. For the seniors who follow this content, perhaps this is the greatest teaching. Even if the remaining days are few, they have value. It's still possible to forgive, hug, smile, understand. And that changes everything, because living with gratitude doesn't only transform the present, it also transforms what will come after. The soul that gives thanks departs lighter, and the one that departs light finds clearer paths. For Cayce, it wasn't necessary to believe everything he said. He himself reinforced that his visions should be analyzed with an open heart, but also with discernment. The most important thing, according to him, was that each person seek their own understanding of what it means to exist beyond the body. He encouraged reading, meditation, solitary reflection. He said that the more intimate our relationship with inner silence, the easier it will be to understand the mysteries of the soul. This suggestion may seem simple, but it has enormous impact, especially for those who live in a phase of more recollection. For many seniors, silence is part of everyday life. And when used well, this silence can transform into a space for encountering what is most profound in us. Cayce didn't preach absolute truths, he offered keys. And the most powerful of these was this: whoever learns to be at peace with their own silence walks firmly towards what comes next. In his final years of life, Cayce never backed down from the revelations he made. Even criticized by some, he remained firm in his mission to transmit what he believed was useful for the evolution of souls. He said that the truth, when it arrives, doesn't need defense. It just is. And therefore he didn't make fiery speeches, nor did he try to convince anyone. He just told what he saw, with humility and respect. Today, so many decades later, his words still echo, especially among those who already feel the approach of farewell. This is not because they bring definitive answers, but because they open space for a new way of facing the end. For those who have lived a lot, seen the world change so many times, lost and won, tied and untied knots, perhaps all that is wanted at the end is this: a little truth, said with respect. And that's what Cayce offered. Not promises, but perspectives. Not dogmas, but possible paths. In closing this interview, forgotten for so long, Cayce stated that nothing is more liberating than understanding that the soul is eternal. This phrase, said with serenity, still resonates among those who seek comfort in the face of the inevitable. He didn't intend for people to start seeing death with joy, but with understanding, with less fear, more acceptance.